Oh, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the virtual gala for the benefit of the Ward Foundation, and I can't wait for you guys to all see everything that's going to go on. We've got art demonstrations tonight. We've got a virtual auction that's going to be open until Sunday, which is fantastic. We've got virtual music, and one of the biggest things that we're going to have tonight is we've got two board members that are going to be baking a cake with Janice Marshall, a Smith Island cake. This ought to be really ugly. It's going to be, we'll see who ends up in the oven. But, it is fall. We've got our woolies on. We're painting decoys. Come on, sit down, grab a brush, paint with me. We're going to watch this gala together, and we'll get back to you later. Have a good one. Enjoy everything, please.
Good evening. I'm Salisbury University President Charles White. I'm excited to be with you here for the Ward Foundation's annual Fall Migration Gala. Salisbury University is fortunate to be affiliated with the Ward Foundation. Through their work at the Ward Museum, their educational programs, public events, folklife research, and support of the arts and the creative economy, they provide so much to the benefit of our community. The Ward Foundation provides access to the arts through world-renowned collections, hands-on experiences with the unique environment of the Eastern Shore, and they showcase the history and heritage of our region. And so much of this is done in partnership with us at Salisbury University. The foundation provides internships as well as educational and artistic opportunities to students, and they partner with faculty and staff to meet our shared goals. So join me tonight in celebrating the Ward Foundation and in supporting the great work that they do for our communities. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Janice Marshall, born and raised on Smith Island, and we're going to do a Smith Island cake demo for y'all, and I've got two great helpers here that's going to do their part, I hope, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Steve Lanzer. I'm not born and raised on Smith Island. I'm a board member at the War Museum.
Howdy, I'm Clifton Griffin. I ain't from around here either, and not born on Smith Island, but I love making cake and eating cake.
So what we're going to do, we are going to demonstrate the making of Smith Island cakes. We're going to explain why. We got small layers, thin layers, and as we go on progressing doing the cake, he's stirring the cake, I bake the cake, and we're going to let him handle the icing part, the frosting part.
What are the origins of the Smith Island cake? Because I think everyone wants to know that. I mean, how did this cake come to be?
From the time we were little, my grandma, Mylena, I called her, had a little tin baker, she called it. She didn't have a stove with an oven in it. So thus, we think that's why we have, when you buy Smith Island cake, we think that's where it comes, how it originated. Because people didn't have modern ovens then.
So that's why the layers are so thin to make
a lot easier to make one of them than it is a thick one.
I always thought you just, somebody said, we don't like these thick layers everybody else has, let's slice them up. But you told me quick, we don't slice nothing.
We don't slice them, this is how we start. And I think a lot of people likes we call it icing, defrosting.
Yeah,
it's usually made, but Mylena used to make hers from stump with the flour and the sugar. And since Mr. Hines makes such a nice cake
She made it from what? From stump?
From the stump. You call it from scratch. See,
yes, ma'am, it's from scratch.
This is Smith Island.
A stump is something out in the woods.
A stump is what a tree starts from, and when you cut it down, that's all's left.
I hear you. Okay. So when you're making these layers, you put a little bit in there, you're making a little layer. How long do you cook
I put maybe 2 or 3 of these big tablespoons in each pan, spread it around, and it's according to your oven. 10, 12 minutes.
10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it's done.
350, 400?
350 bakes everything.
Wait, but for how long? How much time?
10 to 12 minutes.
You gotta listen,
But keep
Steve.
an eye on it. See, everybody's oven is not the same.
I can't hear.
And when, I know, I don't talk as loud on this, no. But anyway, you touch it.
Okay.
And if it
In the oven?
sticks to your, pull it out. And if you think it's done, just touch it. Like, I don't mean put your finger on there and get a blister. You just touch it.
And if it's
And
spongy?
look, it's done. I'm gonna let Stephen do the first step.
Okay, what do I need to do?
Take this knife.
Okay.
And bite that much.
Okay.
And just put it right there.
For the audience, man, put it where?
Right here.
Right here.
Now, I don't do this
On
on
this.
me. Yep, like that.
Do that.
Why we keep doing stuff you
Let
don't
me
do
show
at
you.
home?
Do you call that?
Oh, Lord, you got no patience.
Stephen, I'm going to do the first layer because
Okay.
you're going to be just as slow as cold tar.
Probably.
I'm going to just show you
I don't
what
have
you
experience
do.
that you do. I don't.
Greetings, everybody. I am Brittany. I am the Deputy Director here at the Ward Museum, and thank you so much for tuning in to our 2021 virtual gala. For those of you who bought a watch party box with us, thank you so much. Now it's time to get your red raffle tickets out, our red raffle tickets, and we're gonna pull a door prize. So let's see who our lucky winner is. Ticket number 968297. You are our lucky winner of our first door prize. Be sure to contact the museum and we will make sure we get that to you. Again, that number is 968297. Congratulations. I will be back shortly to draw our next door prize.
When my husband and I moved to Salisbury 28 years ago, we were intrigued by the beautiful Ward Museum that sat on the pond near our first home. Over the years, we came to love the museum and all that it provided the community. Our children would spend rainy Saturday afternoons studying the beautiful artwork that told the stories of the people and the nature that makes Delmarva so unique. They participated in workshops. The soap carving was always their favorite. Our children are grown and they cherish the time they have spent at this Delmarva treasure. And hopefully, we can work together to continue this tradition for future families.
How you doing? This is Josh Googie, and wanted to share some thoughts about the Ward Foundation, what it's meant to me over the years, and what it's meant to my family. I've attended the show. I think the first time I remember I was 8 years old. I've attended on and off for years ever since, and the show has had a huge impact on my life and my career since I'm a full-time sculptor. And most of the time carving birds. The show has really had a huge impact on me and what I do for a living. And my grandpa, Roy Googie, my father, Bob Googie, both attended the show over the years before they passed away. And also they thought very highly of the show. My dad was a full-time sculptor. And he never missed a show, I don't think, ever since the first show he attended. And there's several reasons why we try not to miss a show, and one of them is obviously for the highest level of competition in the world. Another reason is the community that's built around the show and the friends we get to meet and see every year we go. And then also the promotion of bird sculpting in general in the world. There's no more prestigious show than the Ward Wildfowl competition. There's no higher level, so that's the one that everyone wants to compete at. And there's a reason for that. It brings out the best in us as sculptors. And I love the way how the ward has promoted youth artists in the past. My kids have competed at Ward as well as I did when I was younger, and they really do a good job at promoting youth, getting youth involved, and really that's important for the future of what we do. That we have a future, and that depends on exposing this beautiful art to young people. And so my life really wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't be doing this full time without Ward. I don't think the bird carving industry would be the same without it. It's kind of our lifeblood. It's what keeps us together, showing up every year, competing with each other, and developing relationships. And I'm very thankful for what the Ward has meant to me and my family over the years.
David Turner, and we're here at Turner Sculpture in Only, Virginia. I started sculpting when I was six years old. My dad was sculpting at the time. He did ceramic wildlife figurines that he finished in the basement of the small house that we lived in while we were in Richmond, and that's when I started sculpting too. I would sculpt animals in stoneware clay, and he'd fire them in the kiln. But I did take art courses. I had a minor in studio art at William & Mary, so cast some bronze even at William & Mary. In 1984, we bought this building where we are now, which is our gallery, our studio, and our foundry. I sculpt the original model in clay, and once the clay model is complete, I'll cut it in several different sections and then make rubber molds of those different sections. So the rubber goes around the clay, and the rubber, once that sets up, it will take the detail even of a fingerprint. So then we have a void where the clay once was. So the next thing we do is take it to our wax room, and then we pour wax at about 225 degrees into the space where the clay once was, and we let that cool. And most castings are hollow, so we'll pour it in the mold and then pour the center back out that's still liquid, and that should leave you with a thickness of between the 1/8 and a 1/4 inch thick of wax. Because later, wherever you have wax, you'll have bronze. It's called the lost wax process. So then once the wax casting is finished, correcting any imperfections, then we take it and dip the wax in this ceramic liquid, and we build up layer after layer of ceramic around the wax casting, and we only get like 2 dips in a day in this ceramic liquid, and it's a real thin layer each time, so it takes a week and a half to build up thickness of ceramic around that wax casting. Then we put it in a furnace, and that does 2 things. It evacuates the wax, and it hardens that ceramic mold. So now we have a ceramic mold with a void in it where the wax once was. That's the lost wax part of the process. Then the next thing we do on another day, we'll put those ceramic molds with a void in where the wax once was. We'll put it in the furnace, and we'll preheat that furnace to like 1400 degrees. Meanwhile, we've got our bronze furnace where we have a crucible made out of silicon carbide in it that will hold about 130 pounds of bronze. So we're going to heat that up to 2000 degrees, and just under 2000 degrees. And once that gets to 2000 degrees and the ceramic molds are preheated to 1400 degrees, we pour the molten bronze into the space where the wax once was. It's pretty exciting seeing bronze poured and feeling the heat and seeing just this bronze metal just glowing like lava, but it's as thin as water even. So you got to watch for any cracks in the ceramic mold or any holes in it, because bronze will shoot out of it just like water before it cools. So we pour the bronze in and let that cool, and then we hammer the ceramic off, and then we have the different pieces of bronze. But and now they're cast in bronze, and we take all the different parts, clean them up, weld all the different pieces together, and blend in the seams. That's called metal chasing. And then once that's complete, we sandblast the bronze. That cleans the surface of the bronze, and it gets oil from the grinders, oils from being handled, heat marks from the weld will come off with the sandblasting, so it gives a clean surface. And then a patina is applied to the surface of the bronze, and that's done by heating the bronze with a torch and applying different chemicals to the surface. Different chemicals at different temperatures will give you different colors. And then if a piece is going inside, generally we seal it up with a wax sealant. For bigger pieces that might go outside, we put a lacquer sealant on it that helps further protect it from the atmosphere outdoors. It's a little more controlled inside. And then the piece is basically finished. The favorite part of the process is definitely working in the clay, the creative part. I've got ideas for models stacked up in my head that I just can't wait to get to, but there's a lot of different steps in the process, and I'm hands-on with pretty much all of them. There's many days that go by I don't get to touch clay at all, but it gives a lot of control over the process, but it also can control you as well. It's just a balance.
Hi folks, my name is Ryan Coons and I am the Folk Life Specialist at the Maryland State Arts Council, where I co-administer the Maryland Traditions program. Maryland Traditions supports traditional artists and traditional arts, sometimes called folk life. One of the ways we do this is to fund 8 regional folk life centers through the Maryland Folk Life Network grant. Of these 8 institutions, the Ward Museum is the longest standing continual member with its 19-year-old Lower Shore Traditions program. There is so much to love about the Ward Museum. They do consistently great work, especially under the leadership of Executive Director Kristen Sullivan and Folklife Program Director Ray Valiant-Gillette. I love how the Ward uses its programming to support tradition bearers in decoy carving, crabbing, trapping, fiber arts, and other traditions. I love how the Ward is engaging with recent immigrant communities in the region to document their traditions and oral histories. I love the way the Ward goes to these and the other communities it serves to ask them what they want and need, and then makes the museum's resources available to meet those needs. Congratulations on 19 wonderful years in the Maryland Folklife Network Ward Museum, and here's to the next 19.
The Ward Museum has become a very close friend and part of the family of the Nassau Wash. They have opened their hearts and their doors to us, and they have allowed us to come in and share our history and our culture with them and their communities on the southern part of the Eastern Shore. And our history and our culture, if we don't start sharing it, we're going to end up losing it. And you have made yourselves available to help us to not lose this and to help educate everyone about it.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Philip Harvey, and I'm a composer and arranger that's based locally here in Salisbury, Maryland. What you're about to hear is music from my upcoming album, Smash. Smash is a collection of 9 compositions for large ensemble jazz orchestra that are inspired by comic book superheroes, characters, tropes, and archetypes. I'm heavily inspired by the characters of Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and just superhero stories in general, and wanted to put that into my musical writing. Luckily, I got to record this music in August of 2021 with my big band, the Stephen Philip Harvey Jazz Orchestra. We laid it down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it will release to the world sometime around April of 2022. You can look for us in April of 2022 at the Ward Museum for our album release concert. Some of the pieces in Smash are inspired by specific powers, like the power of flight with our piece Zephyr, or the power of super strength with the titular piece Smash. The piece you're about to hear is inspired by powerlessness in the feeling of all-out war around you. This was inspired by characters in movies who are just the bystanders during these epic superhero battles. This is called Projectile Dysfunction. It was written in through November of 2020 through January of 2021 amidst the pandemic, while I was still teaching, and felt powerless over a lot of situations, and felt just as powerless as those people in those superhero battles. for having me for a second time for their Fall Migration Gala. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to perform virtually, and can't wait till we get to have this musical time together in person.
Hi, my name is Micaiah Purnell and I'm the founder of Ocean's Garden. I just wanted to take a few minutes to extend my appreciation and support for the Ward Museum. Just 3 short years ago, I stepped into the Ward Museum for the first time, and I will admit my only expectations at that time were to see the decoys and the exhibits and to pretty much learn all that there is to know about birds. What I was not expecting to learn at that time is that this museum is really one that values community and collaboration and culture, and really doing so in a way that's intentional. And that comes back to being mindful of the programming and activities that are offered, and doing so in a way that is reaching demographics that are traditionally underrepresented in this area, in wildfowl, in the carvings championship, making sure that cultures and different backgrounds are coming together in this one space under the interest of art and creativity. And so that was apparent at the recent Del Marvelous Festival. And walking from the front to the back and seeing how the activities ranged, there was a range of activities offered and definitely diverse. So children could have attended drag queen story hour. They could have gotten henna tattoos and still taken the tour to see the decoys. I think that's a really important quality to have, to care that much about bringing your community together and to make sure that you have something to offer for everyone. Really makes the Ward Museum a treasure, a rising treasure on the Eastern Shore. So I'm really excited to see the work that has been done, really excited to see the work that is going to continue to be done, and to see how they expand on the work that they're already doing. That is very important. And more than anything, I'm really excited to be able to bear witness and to continue to participate. I wish you well wishes in your gala, and thank you.
All right, let me adjust myself. Look semi-professional. Okay. Now we'll both talk to nothing like idiots.
We can do that.
Okay, let's see.
I have a long years of extensive research and practice.
This is gonna have to be a one-taker. Can we do it? We're gonna do it.
What do I have to do?
You'll see. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Kristen Sullivan. I'm the Executive Director at the Ward Museum, and I am here with Rich Smoker, who you met earlier, the Chairman of our Ward Foundation Board of Directors. I want to take a moment to recognize that this guy right here is a National Heritage Fellow. In 2019, he was recognized by the National Endowment for the Arts for being a National Heritage Fellow, one of only 3 decoy makers in the history of this really illustrious award. It is the top honor for traditional artists in the United States. And we're pretty lucky to have this guy here with us. I'm gonna get emotional. And so we wanted to find a way to honor Chairman Smoker and everything that he's done for the Ward Foundation and for wildfowl carving. And I think specifically for the sort of continuing the heritage of it. And I just was fortunate enough to get a little tour around Rich's house, and there's so many stories associated with each decoy and shorebird, you know, that's around his home. And you really, I think, Rich, you are fantastic at teaching the sort of real richness and meaning of this art form to folks. And I think we may have found a way to honor that. And
Is it a revolving door that I can go through?
No.
Oh.
What I have here is a printout of the final proof of our upcoming Ward World Championship guide. You all will be able to see a PDF that's an online version of this starting November 9th, and then we'll send the hard copies out in January, hoping that everything is going in the right direction with the pandemic. But Rich, I'm hoping that you can read this. This is our champion levels for world-class decoy making, and I want you to read this new category. We have a brand new worlds category. Read that, and then if you would, tell me the name of the prize associated with it.
The single division, WG, single gunner decoy. The 2022 species is a Brant, any, worldwide. That encompasses 2 species, 2 subs. The division emphasizes simplicity that most resembles the functional tool of...
Let me just stop there.
Okay, right there. The decoy maker.
So I'm going to press pause here for a second. So we have, Rich, a brand new world level class. You are not in on this, but the rest of the world committee was, the world's committee. Our events director, Christy Clattenburg, was in on this. A number of our regular judges and volunteers who are part of this. And so would you please now, read the name of the best in world title of the single gunner decoy category.
Division WG, World Gunner, Single Gunner Decoy, Best in World, the Rich Smoker Heritage Award. Holy crap. Really?
Yes.
So it's only going to cost me $3,000.
I think it's covered this year anyway. If anyone would like to contribute to the Rich Smoker Heritage Award in the future, you're welcome to.
God, really?
But yeah, so there's a new, we are announcing here during the Fall Migration Gala a new world champion level world class single gunner decoy competition. It's the Rich Smoker Heritage Award.
But
you can't enter it. I don't think you're going to be judging it, by the way.
I'm gonna. But this is my one of my favorite birds, Brant. You know,
it's almost like people have been sneaking around behind your back to try to figure things out.
You guys are terrible.
So right now, while I'm recording this with Rich, there are some folks out in the Chincoteague Bay who are recording a float of some single gunners. We've got Arthur Leonard, who is one of our Worlds Committee members. He's a Ward Foundation board member and oftentimes judge. Fantastic decoy maker himself. Russell Fish, a Chincoteaguer, is also a fantastic carver, award-winning carver, and he's at the 2 of them are out there, pardon me, with Christy Clattenburg, our events director, and Ray Valiant Gillette, our curator and folk life program director, and they're going to give you a little information about what goes into a world champion and award-winning single gunner decoy. So you'll be prepared for Worlds this year in April in Ocean City. Give a hug.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We'll have more with Rich later, and maybe he'll get his words back.
I didn't see that coming.
All right, I'll go stop the video now.
What the hell brought this on?
It's a little windy, if you couldn't tell. But we're here with gunning decoys out in a natural setting, much like they would be in Asselwoman Bay. And we're looking at decoys, seeing what floats best and what would do better as a gunning decoy. This year, we have decided to have a single gunner at Worlds that's going to be floated in Sentapuxet Bay. And it's important because we've been trying to get a world category for a single gunner for years. So what we're having this year is the Rich Smoker Heritage Single Gunner Decoy at a world level. And this year's species is Brant.
We have Brant set out. We've got some black ducks, mallard, golden eyes, and canvasback. They're sitting out here in the water. They're rotting good. Every one of these birds are rotting good. You don't want it flipping over while you're out here in this wind.
Well, they need to naturally sit like a duck would. I mean, they've got to sit down pretty much. You don't want something that's too high out of the water, because when it's too high, it'll be affected by the wind, and especially today, that'll make it rock unnaturally.
Now, if you look out there at the branch, there's a lot bigger birds, but they're all rotting good because we got good weights on them, good keel weights under the birds. To make them rot in that weather. You can see the seeds out there.
And also for a brant, when they're on an area feeding, you want to naturally see that white flash because they're constantly tipping up and down to get the aquatic vegetation off the bottom. So you'll see that flash of white all the time, and that's something that they, adds to the decoys, and it catches the eye of the birds as they're flying by.
But we're looking for the profile, coloration, and the way it rides in the water. It's the three basics. But in the world class that we're getting ready to do, it's going to definitely be a lot better paint job, a lot better. As far as the profile and stuff, it'll probably be pretty well the same. You can probably get a little creative. But it's there's three things that we're looking for.
I would like to issue a challenge to all the carvers out there. Make this single gunner at Worlds worth the effort we've put into to have this thing. Please make a gunning brant and bring it to Worlds. I guarantee you'll have a fun time out on the bay looking at all these brant floating. Do it for Rich.
For me, the Ward Museum is at the center of this art form that I am a part of. And I think it was there at the beginning, at the creation of this thing that we do. And hopefully it'll be at the center of the future of this art form and what we will and can become. But I think more importantly, I think the Ward Museum in many ways is at the center or at the heart of a family, a group of really good people that love birds and love art and love nature. And I think to support the museum and to support its shows and its activities continues to support that family and help that family to grow and become better than it already is. And that's why I think it's the most important thing we can do in our art form for ourselves and each other.
My name is Dr. Joan M.E. Gaither. I am a fiber artist, activist, and I was really delighted that I was able to have my show at the Ward Museum, Storytelling with Purpose, documentary quilts of Dr. Joan M.E. Gaither. Given COVID and people being shut in and not being able to get out, I was just really very pleased that Ward gave me and the public an opportunity to see the work. And I'm really delighted that the Ward has a part of their own mission and gave me an opportunity to share that experience with other folks. My only hope and continued desire is that folks will continue to be inspired to come and see what others have done, but also be inspired to tell their own story. And the Ward has been very successful in telling the story of, the folks in your area. So I'm really very pleased and inspired that we were given the opportunity to create a Lower Eastern Shore community quilt. And even with COVID, all of the pieces and parts came together. I just, congratulations to the Ward and their ability to showcase our past as well as our present to be sort of a mainstay for people going into our future.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Kelly, the horticulture instructor here at Parkside High CTE, and we are at the A+ Garden Center. It's my honor here to give a big shout out to the Ward Museum. Ward Museum, as you know, is awesome with all its, the heritage and the crafts and the arts and everything. However, we're really blessed to have the Ward Museum Education Department being a big part of what we do here. We've been fortunate over the years to have the Ward Museum educators lead us in water quality testing, habitat restoration, erosion mitigation, and we're really excited right now. This year we're working on a program with the Ward educators on agricultural sustainability and regeneration, soil regeneration practices. And so we're really blessed to have the whole staff at the Ward Museum as part of what we do, as well as participating as our program advisors. So, you know, here's to the Ward Museum and all the best.
Hi, I'm Patrick Henry, and I'm here at my studio about to start on the process of my next painting. And I want to share with you the steps that I take in developing and creating a painting. And so today I have been able to put a sketch on canvas of the design or the painting that I'm working on. And there are so many different ways that artists develop paintings. Mine is a little bit more measured, in which I first tone my canvas with a turpentine thin oil color, and lately I've been using burnt sienna as the tone. Some artists paint what we call alla prima, all at once, in which they just go on and attack the canvas. Do you find that more prevalent in the modern way of painting? Where my way of doing this is sort of a more traditional, time-honored painting that could even go back to Europe, which that is the way I developed paintings from the beginning over 50 years ago. And what this does is gives me the ability to make my value decisions early on instead of later. This way of doing this preliminary sketch enables me to see the modeling that I want to do between the various objects in the subject matter. And you're almost looking at a photograph, a black and white photograph, but it'll be toned in the various, whatever color I decide that I want to do. And lately, I have not leaned so much on the painting as much, on the photograph as much as on my experience, and do what you call push the envelope a little bit with color, have fun experimenting a little bit, find little happy quote unquote accidents that help you to make the painting more vibrant color wise. For some reason, the black and white photographs have much more a gradation of tone from the shadows to the highlights. With this painting here, it's more measured, so I'm kind of going back to my illustrative days early in my career where the image is more hard-edged. I'm not quite sure why I'm going that way. I think I get into those moods and I said, well, this one I'm gonna try to do it like I did in the old days. And it requires you to be more deliberate.
Welcome back, everybody. For those of you who bought a watch party box, again, pull out your red tickets. It's time to draw another door prize. Okay, lucky ticket holder 968293. You are the lucky winner of our second door prize. Be sure to contact the museum and we'll make sure we get that to you. Again, that's number 968293. Thank you so much for everyone and continue to enjoy the gala.
Oliver Lawson, most people call me Toots, from Chrisfield, born and raised, still live there. And I was born in 1938. The first decoy I ever saw, my brother found it in the marsh and brought it home. And it was one of lambs. And of course I didn't know nothing about lamb at that time, but I don't know, it was something about that that just fascinated me, this decoy, you know. And my grandfather was a carpenter, so we were always used to tools, and all little kids had a pocket knife, so we were always, and I made some little things, and my mother worked with Lem Ward's wife, Miss Selma, and of course, like any mother, she took some of these to work with her, you know, and showed them to Miss Selma, and she said, you tell that boy to go down and talk to Lem, so that's where it all started. I went in their shop when I guess I was about 9 or 10. Bumping on the door, Steve said, come in. And he said, who are you? And I told him my name. He said, no, you got to tell me more. And I said, well, my grandfather's Mark Harrison. He said, oh, I know Mark very well. You come in, son, sit down. But in the early days, that's basically what I did, like little miniature things, which Steve was doing at that time. And matter of fact, that's how I got started with what become the duck house down in Rumley. There was a lady in Chrisfield, Miss Elizabeth Hall, who worked for social services, and I knew her when I was a kid. So one day she said, I want you to quit that job to the grocery store and make these little ducks for me. And I said, well, I got a little baby now, so. And I'm guaranteed, she said, I said, you got to guarantee me something. And she said, well, I'll guarantee you that I'll buy all you make, but I'll buy at least more than what you're making. And she said, matter of fact, I'll even write you a contract. And she did. For these collectors was going to Lambs, so when they left Lambs, they'd come by my little shop, and the business just grew and grew. And the thing of it was, to me, I could sit home and make little ducks, make a living, and I could still go hunting and fishing every day. So I said, this is a good deal. One thing that I was blessed with, I loved to make decoys. It was, I mean, it takes a lot of things in your life, you can't explain why. And who can explain that? Why you are drawn to certain people, you know. And that's the same thing, like I said, meeting people. There were people that I met that as soon as I met them, it was like they were part of your family. They just have that way. And I mean, these are things you can't explain and you don't know why, but you're just drawn to them, and that was the way with decoys. And I just loved going in that shop, still do. I can go in that shop and shut my door and turn my CD player on, and I'm in my own little world.
I'm John Dieter, an owner of the world's largest duck decoy and sporting art auction company, located in St. Michaels, Maryland, on the Eastern Shore. In fact, if you're on the Eastern Shore, please give a call and stop in to see our gallery and our warehouse, which is open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday each week. We specialize in decoy auctions, and we have 3 per year, 300-page catalogs with guaranteed condition reports. And our next auction has some pretty cool items I thought I'd share with you. We have a sleeping Shang Wheeler black duck. I show this to you because Shang Wheeler competed in the first decoy carving competition in Babylon, New York in 1938, sort of paving the way for all you carvers out there today. If you come by and see us, you're also likely to see a great array of Ward Brother decoys. Here's a 1936 pinch breast working pintail drake, and one of the few gad walls made by the Ward brothers in 1971, but I think they only made a handful of the species. And in our gallery this week, you'll also find a carving by multi-world champion John Sharp from Kent, Ohio. Fabulous piece, one piece reduction carving, a goose sanding in corn. And while collecting can be a lot of fun, at some point you're going to decide what to do with your collection. And that's where we can both work to help the Ward Museum. If you'd like to donate a piece, we're happy to provide our services to appraise that item so that you can make a donation and get the tax benefits from that. But let's say you have an entire collection you'd like to dispose of. We'll work with you to sell that collection and send a portion of the proceeds to help support the Ward Museum, because they continue to perpetuate the things that are important to us as collectors, carvers, and enthusiasts of these wonderful pieces. Thank you very much. Enjoy your show.
Don't do nothing.
I like things fast.
Leave my louse. Ma'am.
So watch this.
Oh, get her done.
You ain't got to do this. You don't have to do all that. Take your knife. Give it a
Push it
spray.
around. Oh, yeah. You've done that once or twice.
Once or twice.
Yep.
Can you just take a press and like smush it?
No, it's not going to spread.
There we go. There we go.
Because you can always
Come on now,
get
Steve, you
more.
gotta have that action.
Oh, I made a mess there. Look at me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Show us how you do it.
Spread it like so,
yeah.
right? Spread it like so on your.
Whip it. There you go. I'm feeling kind of left out over here.
So how long does it take you to make one of these?
Well,
From start
it
to
don't
finish?
take long because, like I said, look at me. Most of us get them, have a lot of cake pans.
Is that
you
good?
know, and my oven will bake 6 at a time.
I was gonna say, you can bake them at the same time.
I bake 6 at a time.
Okay,
So usually
okay.
8 to 10 layers. 8 is my limit. In this icing is 1 box of 10x sugar, 1 stick of butter, not margarine,
Real
butter.
Blood butter.
Butter.
Or unsalt.
Salt. Want everything in there you can get. Here's the proof of the pudding. And let's hope it cuts good, because like I said, I don't cut it when it's first put together. So we'll show everybody what it looks like.
Awesome.
And I just hope and pray it stays
gonna be
together.
That looks beautiful.
There's what it looks like.
Yay.
There's what you did. How's that?
Beautiful.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
We have a great teacher. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the gala.
And bidding is happening still at the auction.
the Ward Museum's Fall Gala event. We're Red Letter Day, and we're pleased to be here playing some songs for you. This is Susanna Mallow, Kelly Clark, and I'm Andrea Jones.
Daddy was a crabber down on Maryland's eastern shore. He worked the boat until the day he died. Mama was the prom queen from the hollers of Kentucky. A mountain girl who wore her panties high. Mama stayed with me while Daddy faced the sudden storm. She said a prayer and watched as all the heavens opened wide. And on an angel's gilded wings, Daddy waved us goodbye. That was like the wind on the water, started by the wings of a hummingbird. Never still and never wrong, holding fast forever strong, breathing in and breathing out in time. Well, love is like the wind on the water, started by the wings of a hummingbird. Never still and never wrong, holding fast forever strong, breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out in time.
I was born on the water when the world had full, and tide and I were like brothers to the I breathe the air as the bass swirls round. The blood in my veins comes from water in the sound. The affection of my heart lies in canvas and in wood, and tests my very limits like no woman ever would. Beckons me to grab the wind and squeeze from its light, drenches me with terror when I face the waves tonight. Oh, when shadow of the day, my skip-jack lover calls my name. Oh, when shadow of the day, my skip-jack lover sails were packed with fury by a sudden eastern gale. Boys and I were fighting to keep the bow riding high, but the water rolled the rails of the mighty Thomas Clyde. They say a man's not a man until he looks death in the eye. We were face to face with the Reaper as we heard the Thomas sigh. The starboard side went under and we heard a thunderous crack. When the trailboard ripped afloat, we knew we'd never make it back. Oh, in shadow of the bay, musket and lover calls my name. Oh, in shadow of the bay, musket and lover calls my name. When the moon is full, the legend says you'll see our shadows sail as we guide the many skipjacks, keep the water from their rails. Oh, in shadow of the bay, my skipjack lover calls my name. Oh, in shadow of the bay, my skipjack lover calls my name.
Wow. Hey, you're back. Wasn't that a great gala? Fantastic. I really enjoyed that. You know, not too often I get to sit here with my feet up and watch. Not get much painting done, I might add. You haven't been very helpful. But anyhow, we got to see some really neat stuff, didn't we? Fantastic. Don't forget, the auction is open through Sunday. We want to see that. If you haven't been to the Ward Museum of late, we've got lots of new exhibits to be seen. We've got lots of recent acquisitions. I mean, there's some really neat stuff coming through the pike right now. You know, as chairman of the board of directors right now, I beg you to come and enjoy it. It's something that, you know, it just fires you up every time you come in. There's always something new to be seen. Please come and join us. Please come and support us. And most of all, thank you for being here. It was fantastic. I think I've recorded this. I'm going to go back and watch it some more. See ya.